Hey, 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 it is Saturday morning. It is episode 137. And on Saturdays, what do? We do a book review. Today I have, as I'm bringing up my notes, I have an awesome book that I want to talk to you guys about. And it really has had a fundamental change on my life. So much so, he's got 2 books out as this author. So much so that I've actually personally reached out to him. And I would actually, John will probably disagree, but I would actually say that he's my friend. He's my friend. And he's actually coming on the podcast. Is John Lammerton next week on Wednesday to talk about this book and so much more. And I urge every single person listening that you must listen to the episode. John is an awesome entrepreneur, and I know that you will get a great deal out of not just his books, but listening to the interview. And just spoiler alert, I've actually already recorded it, so I know how good the interview is. And by the way, I don't mean good as an interview that I did. Just the information and the knowledge that John brought, it was brilliant. And so I'm really looking forward. That's next Wednesday for you guys to listen, because John, as soon as I read his books, I wanted to get in contact with him because I knew how much of a game changer he is. And anyway, so the book that I'm reviewing is called Routine Machine by John Lammerton. And so I ask, if you are a first-time listener, what I do is I ask 5 questions. I ask, is it 5 questions? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, 5 questions. Right. What is this a book about? And so I answer that first of all. What did I get out of the book? My biggest takeaways and a quote section. So the best quote of the book. And also, who should read this book? So I break these book reviews down into 5 elements. And so, first one then, what is this book about? Well, kind of gives it away in the title. Well, when I say kind of, it definitely gives it away in the title. It's all about routine and why routine is so important. So question number 2, what did I get out of this book? I got so much out of this book. I got the importance of routine, the importance of sleep, which we'll get to in a minute. But I got something out of it that I wasn't expecting. I got that I read a lot of books, as you guys know. I read 2-3 books per week. And sometimes when I look back at my book collection, I just go, yeah, I've read that, but I can't actually remember what the hell it was about. And so kind of then I started thinking, well, what's the point of reading these books? And John's words were that if you like a frog, and you just go, read it. That's supposed to be a frog. Then, do you know what? It's not really making an impact in your life. A book has got to make an impact in your life. So actually reading Routine Machine is the reason that you're listening to this right now. It's the reason we do a book review, because every single book that I read now, I try to answer these 5 questions, and then I share them with you guys, because I want to look back on my book reviews and see what I got out of it. So I've got loads of notes underneath it, but I've also got the 5 questions answered. And for me, then every book I read, I can actually go back and say, okay, that's what I got out of it. Yeah, forgot about that. When I was preparing for this episode, I was going back through my notes, what I'd taken for this book. And I was like, the 1% gain. The British cycling team. Yeah. And I was like, oh my God, this book is so good. And it's some little things that I'd have completely forgot if I wouldn't have wrote it down. So my biggest takeaway for me, what I got out of this book, not my biggest takeaway, what I got out of this book was making sure that I do a book review for myself, and then obviously for you guys as well. But ultimately, it's so I can look back and not just go, read it, and not realize what the book is about. I can look back. Oh, I just hit the microphone. I can look back and know full well that this book is about this, and this. This is what I got out of it. And so this is why, ultimately, you guys are listening to this, because of this book. I would have never done a book review if it wasn't for this book. So thank you, John. Right, my biggest takeaway. I've got so many. And for those of you who are watching this on YouTube, I've got an Aurora ring. John says that sleep really matters. And when I was personally talking to John, John said, and he says it in the book as well, that his biggest takeaway of the last year is get more sleep. If you just get 1 hour extra, you will be so much more productive in the next day. So even if you have 1 hour extra sleep a night, that means that it might take an hour away from your work. It is worth it, because the amount you will gain in productivity is far outweighs the hour you will lose. And so far, so good. It has been an absolute game changer. This Aurora ring, if anybody... if you 300 quid, and it's a game changer. It tells you your REM sleep, your deep sleep, how many hours been up during the night. I've got kids and they're always up during the night, and it's basically one of my biggest takeaways was sleep. Sleep really does matter. Another big takeaway is the 1% gains. The British cycling team, they won 10, I've got it written down here, 10 gold medals in the 2008 Beijing Games, and it's all to do with 1% gains. Just 1% gains, incremental gains, and that's what I'm all about. For me, it lined up perfectly with who I am, because I believe that if we just become, just not even a percent, if we become a smidgen better each and every single day, that compounded over a year, 2 years, 3 years, a decade will make massive difference to your life. And that's what I'm all about. Incremental gains, the 1% gains every single day, 1% gains. And 1%, by the way, is massive. If you can improve 1% every single day, then oh my God, the world is literally your oyster. It just takes incremental changes, incremental improvements every single day. What else? Oh, airlines as well. Airlines have every time there's a crash, the airlines, he documents it in the book, the airlines literally, and there's another great book called Black Box Thinking about airlines. That is phenomenal as well. But airlines, every single time there's a crash, they literally look at the black box and think, okay, what can we do better? What can we do better? They learn through failures, and the results speak for themselves. Safest mode of transport right now. Lottery winners. Another big takeaway, lottery winners. I've got it here. A third of lottery winners in the UK declare themselves bankrupt. A third of lottery winners in the UK declare themselves bankrupt. And so that means if you are, I'm reading it here, if you win the lottery, you go from 0.16%. That is what you are in the UK. But that is your chance of declaring yourself bankrupt, 0.16%. However, if you win the lottery, you then increase your odds of becoming bankrupt by, well, it's massive, astronomically. You are 33%. You've got a 33% chance of declaring yourself bankrupt if you win the lottery. Just listen to that again. You go from 0.16 chance of declaring yourself bankrupt, a normal everyday person in the UK, it's a 33% chance. And that, for me, it was a massive takeaway. It goes into the reasons why, etc. I think that is phenomenal. Absolute phenomenal stats there. The quote. Oh, I love this quote. Somebody is sitting in the shade today because 20 years ago, someone planted a tree. Just let that resonate. Just let that resonate. Somebody is sat in the shade today because somebody planted a tree 20 years ago. I genuinely don't know what else to say to that. I get my goose pimples. It's such a great quote. So it basically means that the things that you think are having a big impact today have an astronomical impact in the future. It's so profound. So the business you're building, the life you're building in 20 years' time, the incremental improvements in your life, it's just incredible. I love that quote. Who should read this book? Well, I've just put anybody, and I've just gone into more detail. Anybody who needs more structure in their life. And that for me was me as well. And I learned from John about planning the week ahead, making sure that I know what is important to me the following week. It doesn't matter if you're an employee or you're an entrepreneur, you've got your own business, whatever. Plan out what is important to you for next week. What do you want to do? What do you want to achieve? And how much time do you want to spend with the kids, with the wife, etc.? And I'm not saying that you can't have spontaneity. You can't be spontaneous. Oh no, you can be that word. You can be that word. Why did I try it again? I did it once. I daren't do it again. You can be spontaneous. You know what I mean. You can't be spontaneous. Yeah, that's it. Boom! Swept it out of the park. Yeah. Oh God, this is terrible. You can be that word, but planning out the week makes a vast amount of difference. Knowing what you want to achieve, knowing your goals, because if you don't have goals, do you know what? Any road will take you there, and you don't want any road to take you there. You want to have your eyes on the prize. You want to be fixated on your goals for the week coming, and then you will achieve them because then you know what you're going for. You know the road. You know the path that you're going down. So anybody who wants more structure in their life should read this book. I know I joke around a lot, but seriously, this is a really, really good book, and I would recommend everybody to read it. It's one of the, like I say, I read a lot of books, and probably only half the books that I read actually get mentioned on this channel. But for me, it is such a good book, and I really enjoyed it. And the way John puts it across as well, John's personality is fantastic, and it really does shine through. Anyway, I have spent a long time book review. Wow, 10 minutes. Oh my God, that's longer than I normally do. Right, so tomorrow, what are we talking about? Oh no, we're doing the challenge of a week. And I started this challenge of a week from the 1st of July. I didn't want to do it, but I'm gonna explain all tomorrow. Don't forget to tune in. It is going to improve your life. I promise you that. So big claims. I know. Listen, see if I can deliver. Okay, remember, you are only in competition with yourself. Forget looking and comparing yourself with anybody else. You are only in competition with who you were yesterday. Okay, my friends, thank you very much. I appreciate you. If you could leave us a rating and review, that'd be amazing. All right, see you soon. Bye-bye.